Good morning, everyone. So because it's Valentine's Day, I thought it might be good to share some love tips for NFs in particular. Because to be honest with you guys, I've never had like a Valentine. I think maybe 1 year I did, because I haven't been in a relationship for anything over 1 year, and so I just never really has landed on Valentine's Day aside from 1 year, and it was not that great. But I sort of woke up thinking like, you know, this might be like the first year that I don't give a shit, and I'm not like pining over anyone in particular. I'm not like longing for something that isn't possible or for some fantasy that isn't real. Like, you know, I think I've let go of any unrealistic expectations. Like, I'm ready to just focus on myself and then see what happens. And you know, that's still pretty much true, but I'm an empath sort of person, and I very much soak up the energy of people around me. And even though I haven't left my house yet to go to work, I still can feel the energy of Valentine's Day like very strongly. Like just from scrolling through my Facebook feed and just like something in the air today, like it's really hard for me to ignore that, because it's like sort of this, on one hand, everyone is like, oh my gosh, like I hope that my date goes well tonight. Like I hope that maybe the guy I'm dating will ask me to be his girlfriend, or the girl I'm dating will ask, I don't know, like maybe the date will go well, or maybe you're hoping to get a proposal, or maybe you're hoping to move in together, or maybe you're just hoping to, you know, like get it on for the first time. You know, there's like all this sort of anxiety of people over here who have someone, and then there's all this like feeling of left outness for people who don't have someone on this day. Even though it's just a day, it's more than just a day, because we've all collectively agreed that it is Valentine's Day, and it is the day that you're supposed to think about love. And so, yeah. So to the extroverted sensing, it is Valentine's Day, you know, like you can't deny that. But anyway, I was talking to a friend of mine who is an INFJ, who wanted to cancel a date tomorrow because she did not see a future with this person. And that's about all I'm really going to get into. But I started to explain this concept to her that I really believe, that I think could potentially help any NF, because it's something that me and my ENFP friend talk about a lot in terms of relationships. One thing that I very, very much believe is that energy is a two-way street. If you feel something as an NF, then that is a two-way street to some extent. But everyone's filters and everyone's the way that they are perceiving the world and judging the world are so different that it might not matter, is something that I really believe. For example, I might be picking up strongly that I have a physical connection with someone, and maybe I've projected the rest, and I think that I care more than I do, and that person doesn't feel the sensory connection as strongly because they aren't attuned to that, and so they think, you know, it's not even. Let me explain this. Let me go back to the other example, and then I can get more deep into this for those that I might just be confusing you right now. But what I told my friend was to not feel bad, because this person was an ST that she was going to end the date with. And something I really was thinking is that an NF, you're going to use your intuition and your feelings to judge the relationship first, before you go into the T and the S of, is this actually sustainable? Is this actually going to happen? Is this going to manifest in the physical reality? Or is this always going to be a daydream? And I think a lot, I've gone through this before, where I have believed so strongly that I love a person, and so because I love them and because I trust myself, that I would not betray myself. I'm feeling this for a reason, so I'm just going to keep going for it, almost to the point where I don't learn from my mistakes, and I kind of look a little deluded because I just keep following my heart, because it's the only thing I know how to follow, because it's what I hear the most. And I know that a lot of NFPs might be afraid to ask some of their friends for advice about someone they might have a crush on, because from their perspective, they might come at you and say, well, nothing's happened with that person, you're just dreaming about it, and it's not going to happen. And I want you to know, if you are an NFP or even an NFJ who is daydreaming about someone, longing for someone, pining for someone, having some sort of feeling like you know you have an intuitive connection with this person, I just want to validate that that is real, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen in the sensory world. So just because something is happening in the intuitive world, so don't let any of your sensing friends or any of your intuitives that are too critical and down on themselves tell you that your feeling is wrong or that your insight is wrong. Because if you have a feeling for a person that exists, like that is you genuinely seeing the good in someone, and you have to remember that NFs are attuned to that first, and then they go into their ST side and think about, is this actually a relationship that would work? Are our qualities actually help each other? Like, oh, what if this person wants to move this person wants to move to LA and this person wants to move to New York? If you guys really want to live in different sorts of environments, then maybe it's not going to work. And I think that a lot of NFs will be like, well, no, but we still have a connection, and so I'm just going to see how it goes. And like, go follow your heart as much as you can, but just don't feel like whenever the sensing or the thinking shows up that is invalidating what your NF side saw. Because it's very possible that your NF side sees this connection, but that it's never going to manifest in the physical sensory reality. Or maybe you feel like you have something really awesome with this person, but logically it's just not going to work, because whenever you guys actually get into arguments, this person triggers all these terrible, parts of you, or maybe one of you isn't willing to do the work to meet the other halfway, and it's just not logical that you guys are going to ever actually have a healthy relationship. Because there are a lot of people that have real true connections that turn to, honestly, domestic abuse situations like verbal abuse. Like, a lot of times it started from a true feeling that then has like turned sour, because logically they aren't actually helping one another and they're abandoning themselves for the other, and it's just not a very sustainable structure. It's not literally making you happy, even though that was the intent. Even though you do love that person, are you happy? If you're not happy, it's not logical to stay. And I want NFs listening to this to be a little easy on themselves today, especially. If they feel like they know something in their heart and their friends are doubting them, or like their sensor friends are being like, but you guys haven't even been together, why do you care? Or your thinking friends are like, well, he hasn't even texted you back, and so it doesn't look like he cares. Logically, he's not putting in the effort. Like, I just want you to take their advice with a grain of salt, but like, you just know you're looking at a different thing, so they aren't discounting your thing. Like, my beloved NFP friends, all of you, I've had so many NFP friends with the years, literally my favorite. They seem to always do this thing where they make someone the object of their affection, and then they're afraid to talk about it because they don't want anyone to invalidate that. But then they get very invalidated if someone is like, oh, I don't know about that person, or if they get any sort of criticalness of that person. I just want you to know that it is very possible that you could, that your feeling could fizzle away, or that something could change in the sensory world or the thinking world that would then validate your NF side. But something I really believe is that for a successful relationship, all of these things are going to feel aligned. It's not just going to be a feeling that you have like right before you go to bed that you dream about someone. It's going to be manifested in the S world and in the T world, and it's not just going to be in your head. And to all NFs watching this, you deserve something that is going to be real in the sensory world. You deserve more than... If anyone watches Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I really love that show. You should watch it. You deserve more than love kernels, okay? You deserve more than love kernels. And you deserve more than like this girl or guy smiling at you when you tell a joke whenever you see them every so often, or like their tweet or their Facebook post looking like it has some sort of hidden meaning that might mean that they were thinking about you. Like, you deserve someone that is being clear to you, that is investing in you, and that has no doubt about you. But going back to the advice I was giving my friend, her NF side was not feeling it with this guy, but this guy, what you also have to remember, the reverse happens where STs can neglect their NF side and see that this person is attractive to me on the physically, and it makes sense to date because we are in similar parts of life, or we are compatible, or we have fun together. And those are the reasons that STs use to decide if they like someone. And if there are any NFs out there worried about breaking an ST's heart, you have to remember that, like, you need, like you said, you need both for it to work. But if you tell them that you don't feel a certain way, they feel the same as you. They just are looking at a different thing. They're looking at, well, we both are attractive people who get along. What's the problem? And an NF is like, well, I don't really feel it in my soul. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know what my soul was saying. I wasn't really thinking about it like that. And yeah, and so whatever type you are, I want you to realize that your top two functions are influencing the way that you see your relationships and the way that you judge someone. But for someone to be worth your time, in my opinion, they're gonna feel right intuitively. You're gonna feel it all in your bones, from your head to your toe. Like, you're gonna have no doubt. Like, NI, you're gonna have a gut instinct. NE, you're gonna just see so many possibilities of things you could do together. Like, you're just gonna feel it. And for your feeling part of you, however you feel and wherever it is on your stack, you're going to feel for them. You're going to genuinely care about their lives and not just about what they can give to you, but you're gonna appreciate their traits, and they're gonna do the same to you. And for thinking, it's gonna make sense why you guys work together. It's not gonna be some far off love story of like it's always gonna be long distance, or they're always gonna, not help you out with your business you're trying to start, or they're always gonna, dismiss your religious beliefs, like something that just doesn't click. Like, logically, your thinking side is gonna also have to match up and say, makes sense. This person is actually helping me and I'm helping them, and we're like a good team. Yeah, that was one of the best compliments that I got from when I was dating an INTP. He was just like, we make sense. And that's, I think, that the way that introverted thinking thinks of things whenever they are, you know, trying to decide, you know, about that person. But anyway, so it should make sense. And then to the sensory world, it should be there. You should be dating them. It shouldn't just be an idea. Like, it should be real. And if one of these things feel off to you, then it's probably off. And I personally don't believe in a reality where two people, one person really, really, really loves this person and the other person just won't reciprocate. I think that if you feel genuine feelings of love for that person or appreciation, then I'm not saying that it's gonna be reciprocated in the sensory world, but I'm saying that the energy exists between both of you. I'm not saying this person is gonna do whatever you are doing, but one example, I mean, most people just go with what their top two functions are and then sort of project the rest. Like, as an ENFJ, there's been so many times when, like, I just knew that I had an intuitive connection with this person. I would feel like I would read their mind. Like, it felt like telepathic. Like, I would just get all these synchronicities happening around me. I would start to hear the voice of God. Like, I just would be able to predict what they were gonna do before they could do it. I would dream about them, and then something would happen in a dream, and then it would happen in real life. And I just kind of got high off of that feeling and was like, that must be real. That must mean that my feelings are correct. And like, yes, they were correct, but did they end up mattering? Not unless the sensory and the thinking world are also going to line up. And yeah, I don't know. I just want to validate all of your feelings. Whatever you're feeling right now, I want you to know that it is real. And it's not just because it's just an idea. Like, ideas have energy too. I personally believe that our thoughts and feelings exist outside of us in waveforms and as energy. That's what I believe. Because how else would intuitives be able to pick vibes off of people unless if they were trapped in their head? Like, I just know they exist externally. Maybe if you're a feeler and you have strong feelings for a thinker, maybe they just think that the relationship doesn't make sense, but maybe they feel just as strongly as you, but they aren't consumed by it, you know? Or maybe if you're an intuitive and you are liking a sense and you like a sensor, maybe you feel the intuitive connection, but they feel it too, but they don't think that it's strong enough to take action. Maybe they think that they felt similar connections with lots of people, and maybe you, as an intuitive, you're feeling a connection. But maybe you need to meet more people, and maybe you'll notice that there are stronger connections that could happen. So yeah, I hope that this made sense, and thank you guys for watching. NFs, like, hang in there today. For those of you who are upset or projecting or waiting for someone to do something, I also want you to know that you're just going to process your feelings and your intuition a lot faster than most people. And you might feel like, well, I know how I feel about this person. Why don't they know? Like, they must not like me as much if they aren't as certain as how I am. They might like you. They might like you just as much as you. But they just don't trust their intuition and their feeling. Especially INFPs can be very just very bleeding heart about the object of their affection, to the point where they don't seem afraid to look crazy. They just trust it. And a lot of people like don't do that. So just be patient with them, and be patient with yourself, and don't dismiss those feelings when they come up. So anyway, join my Facebook group. I will link below. It's called Personality Typology for Self. Why do I say that word wrong all the time? That makes me look so stupid. Anyway, the link is below, and happy Valentine's Day.